started in just a moment. Of our star musician. All right, folks, we're going to begin in just a moment. So if you want to start making your way to your seats, please grab a seat door from the back. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. It's good to be here together. And this week in our Torah portion, Shalach Lecha, it gives us a very human moment in the Torah. Moses sends out scouts into the land, and they come back having seen beauty and possibility and abundance and promise. But they also come back afraid, and soon their fear will become the loudest voice in the room. I can imagine that feels very real for a lot of us right now. Fear has its way of taking up space, and it can make the world seem smaller. It can make the future feel closed, and it can make us look at ourselves and say, we are like grasshoppers in our own eyes. That is what fear can do when it goes unchecked. But it does not tell us, be careful. Sometimes it tells us, you are not enough, we are not enough, and there is no way forward. But Shabbat speaks to us with a different voice. Not a voice that denies our fear or tells us to pretend that everything is fine, but a quieter, a steadier voice that says, fear is real, but it is also not the only truth. Fear may visit us, but it doesn't have to lead us. And we are allowed to be cautious without becoming hopeless. So tonight, as we enter Shabbat together, let's give our fear somewhere to rest. Let's take a moment and notice where we are in our bodies. Maybe loosen your hands a little. Maybe unclench your jaw. Let your eyes soften. Let's all take a slow, deep breath in and a slow, gentle exhale. Again, let's take a deep breath in. And as we breathe out, we let go of everything we need to solve tonight. As we take another breath in, we breathe out, making a little more room inside of ourselves. Notice the people around you, not as strangers, but as reminders that we don't have to carry this fear alone. So tonight, may our prayers help us become a little steadier. May our songs, our music widen what fear has narrowed. And may the Shabbat remind us that courage doesn't always roar. Sometimes courage is just showing up, continuing to breathe, remembering that we are all still here together. And how good it is that we are all here together. Let's move into the words of Emanu-El, which can be found on page 128 or page 10. Tonight it is Simcha Shabbat, so I am going to invite any of those of you who are celebrating a Simcha, whether that is a birthday, an anniversary, some milestone, something incredible happened to you this month or will happen later to you this month. I'm going to invite you to please come help us light the candles. Anyone celebrating a simcha this month? Anybody with birthdays this month? Anniversaries? Something incredible happened to you.
I got to come back to Hawaii.
You got to come back to Hawaii. That's pretty incredible. Somebody just came back from the other side of the world, an incredible part of the world that not a lot of people get to see. All right, she's moving. She knows who she is. Somebody's got to have a birthday or something. Come on. And I'm going to ask that when you please come to the mic, please share your name. Those who might be watching on the live stream who may not be familiar with you, please share your name and the simcha you are celebrating this evening.
I'm Jackie, and I just got back from 26 days away, 20 of which were touring and trekking in the Himalayan kingdom of Bhutan.
Wow.
And I survived that, so I'm back. It was beautiful.
Nice.
And I'd like to introduce Ashley and her family. She can introduce the rest. She's new.
Hi, my name is Ashley, and these are my daughters, Olivia and Layla, and my husband and 2 sons are also back there, Justin, Noah, and Jonah. And we just moved here from South Carolina a week ago, so.
Hello, everyone. I'm Rachel. So blessed to be back here in Hawaii. For those of you who don't know me, I grew up going to this congregation. I had my bat mitzvah only a few years ago, right up there on the bima. And my simcha not only is coming back here to Hawaii to be with all of you, and I get to help two of my friends get married this Sunday, but also I am releasing my new album into the world on July 1st. And so that is my simcha. I'm celebrating new music.
I'm Rosemary Mild. Larry and I are celebrating the 5-star review, our new novel, a spy novel, Kawaii Spies and Bald-Faced Lies, received.
All right, who would like the honor of lighting our candles? The lighter, should be right there.
I'm good. Go ahead. Come on down.
Well, I will anyway.
Wow, fancy pants. Okay.
And as our candles are lit, we'll wave in that love, that peace, that joy that we get from Shabbat, and we'll join together in the blessing. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu Lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Thank you. Go for it.
Praise be thou, eternal God, ever present in our lives, who has sanctified us by thy commandments and commanded us to kindle the lights of Shabbat. May the lights bring you Sabbath peace. May the lights bring you Sabbath joy. Amen.
Thank you all so much, and Mazal Tov to all of you. So as we continue to welcome Shabbat into our space, there are many ways to enter Shabbat. Some of us are entering with relief. Some of us might be feeling exhausted. Some of us are here with gratitude. Some of us might be here with a bit of heaviness. Some of us arrive because we just know that this is where our soul knows to come. Lecha Dodi teaches that Shabbat does not need us to enter perfectly, it just needs us to turn toward it. So as we join and sing together, let this be our turning towards peace, toward one another, toward the gentle holiness of this night. We're going to join together in the words of Lecha Dodi, which can be found on page 138 or page 20.
So this Lecha Dodi, I'm very excited to share this with you. I wrote this Lecha Dodi along with one of my friends, a rabbi, Rabbi Devir Kahana, and you are the first place that I have brought it. So I need the Lecha Dodi part is actually repeat after me. So it goes, I go Lecha Dodi, Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, Pene Shabbat, Nekabela, Nekabela. And then the verses are also kind of very repetitive, so just, you'll catch on and you'll sing it, okay? Here we go. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, Pene Shabbat, Nekabela, Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, Pene Shabbat, Nekabela, Shamor v'zachor, b'dibur echad, Hishmi'anu, El HaMiuchad, Adonai echad, U'shemo echad, L'shem u'tiferet, ve'letila. From the top, Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, Pene Shabbat, Nekabela, Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, Pene Shabbat, Nekabela, Hitoreri, Kiva Orech, Kumi Uri, Shir Daberi, Kivod Adonai, Alayich Nila, Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, Pene Shabbat, Nekabela, Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, Pene Shabbat, Nekabela. If it is your custom to rise and greet the Shabbat bride as she comes in, Boi v'shalom, Ateret Bala, Gam besimcha, Utzot Chala, Toch Emunei, Am Segula, Boi Chala, Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, Pene Shabbat, Nekabela, Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, Pene Shabbat, Nekabela.
Don't sit down just yet. Let's take a moment to wave to those who are joining us on the live stream. We'll wish them a Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Turn to someone next to you, someone across the aisle, and wish them a Shabbat Shalom. And don't sit down just yet. We're going to be moving into the Baruch Hu, our call to worship. So if you want to head back to where you were seated, but don't sit down just yet, we're going to be on page 146 or page 28 for the Baruch Hu, our call to worship. You may be seated. We include a blessing for the one who brings on the evening. And our tradition asks us to notice something that we might otherwise rush past, the changing of light. The sky darkens slowly, and the day does not disappear all at once. It makes its way into night with patience, with color, with beautiful, quiet transition. And maybe our souls need that kind of transition too. We don't always move into Shabbat instantly. We're carrying conversations and responsibilities, worries, unfinished things. But Ma'ariv Arivim gives us permission to arrive gradually.
If any of you remember this from High Holy Days time when we sang it, please sing along. Ma'ariv Arivim, praise to God for evening and the making of day into night. Ma'ariv Arivim, praise to God for evening, separating the darkness from light. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidbaro ma'ariv arabim, bechokma potach she'arim, ubetbuna mishaneh itim, umachalif et hazmanim umcharev hakochavim b'mishmerotechem, barakia kirtzono. Ma'ariv Arabim, praise to God for evening and the making of day into night. Ma'ariv Arabim, praise to God for evening, separating the darkness from light. Borei yom balayla, kolel or mipnei choshech, vechoshech mipnei or, vechoshech mipnei or. Uma'avil yon u'mevil layla, uma'avdil ben yon u'ben layla. Adonai tziva'ot shemo, El chai v'kayam tamid, yimloch aleinu le'olam va'ed. Ma'ariv Arabim, praise to God for evening and the making of day into night. Ma'ariv Arabim, praise to God for evening, separating the darkness from light. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'ma'ariv Aravim, Aravim.
The scouts in this week's Torah portion all saw the same land, but they did not all tell the same story. That's important because what we see matters, and the story we tell about what we see matters too. Fear tells one kind of story, that we're too small, the challenge too big, there is no hope. But Shema gives us a different story and begins with just one word: listen. Listen before panic takes over. Listen before the loudest voice becomes the truest voice. Listen for the deeper truth underneath the fear. Adonai Echad. It does not mean that life is simple, and it does mean that even when the world feels fractured, that there is still a deeper oneness holding us together, that even though when our thoughts feel scattered, when our hearts race, even when we feel small, we are always a part of something larger than ourselves. The words of Shema can be found on page 152 or page 34. If it is your custom, I will invite you to rise.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vahe. You may be seated. We'll turn the page to our love song to the divine, the words of Ve'ahavta. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavcha uvechol nafshecha uvechol meodecha vehayu hadevarim ha'ele asher anohi mitzaveha hayom al levavecha veshinantam levanecha vedibarta bam beshivtecha bevetecha uvlechtecha vaderech uvshokbeha uvkumecha ukshartam leot al yadecha vehayu letotafot beineinecha uktavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha leman tiskeru va'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'hitem kedoshim le'elohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem le'elohim ani Adonai Elohechem Adonai Elohechem emet. Mi Chamocha is a prayer of gratitude for liberation, and that liberation is not only ancient. There are small liberations we need all of the time. Freedom from the tightness we carry in our bodies, freedom from the old stories that no longer serve us, freedom from the pressure to be everything for everyone, freedom to just breathe and soften and begin again. So as we sing the words of Mi Chamocha, may we open ourselves to whatever bit of freedom our souls most need tonight. Mi Chamocha can be found on page 158 or page 39.
Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nehtar v'kodesh, Torah tehilot osef ele,
As we churn the page, Hashkivenu is our evening prayer for shelter. As night settles around us, we ask for a peace that can cover all that still feels tender. Peace for our homes, peace for our loved ones, peace for our community, for every place around the world that still needs gentleness. May this prayer, these words for us, be a soft place to rest. Hashkivenu can be found on page 160 or page 42. I'm going to invite us all to please rise physically or spiritually as we enter into the Amidah. As we move into the quiet part of our service, the Amidah asks us to stand before God with honesty, not as something polished or pretending, just honest. And in a week where in our Torah we are focusing on fear, honesty matters. Because fear often grows where it has nowhere to go. When we hide it, it hardens. When we can name it gently, we can begin to loosen it. As we begin our prayer and we begin to enter into the silent, let's take a moment. Notice where your body is making contact with the chair or on the ground. Let your body feel supported. Maybe let your hands rest wherever they are comfortable. Maybe soften your face. Let's all take a slow, deep breath in and a slow, gentle exhale. Name something silently that you are carrying. No need to feed it or give it more power, just one truth to bring before the divine. And now, silently name one source of steadiness for you. Maybe that's a person, a memory, a place, a teaching, a blessing, something that reminds you that fear is not the whole story. The scouts in our parashah said we were like grasshoppers in our own eyes. So in this, the Amidah, we ask the divine to help us see ourselves differently. Not as giants, not as fearless, but as souls with courage, as a community with strength, as a people capable of walking forward even when the road is uncertain. May the words we speak, the silence we keep, help restore us to our truest size, not small in the eyes of fear, but held in the presence of the divine. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. I'll invite you to use this time to daven silently, using the words from our tradition or the words that are on your heart. When you are finished with your prayer, you may be seated.
Unto you, eternal one, my rock and my redeemer, to thee,
begin our Torah service. So I'm going to ask everyone to please rise physically or spiritually as we take our Torah from the Ark. It's my pleasure to invite up Barry, who will be helping us with our Hakafah. We are going to be on page 364 with the words Ki Mitzion Tetzei Torah at the top, and we'll turn the page to Baruch Shenatan. Again, page 364, page 246. Just be careful going down. And again, we're going to be at the top of page 364, 246. Ki Mitzion Tetzei Torah. Ki Mitzion Tetzei Torah. Udevar Adonai Yerushalayim. We'll turn the page. Baruch Shenatan Torah, Torah. Baruch Shenatan Torah, Torah. Le'amo Yisrael Bidushat Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo, Gadlul Adonai iti, Uneromema Shemo Yachtav.
Pila machazikim b'domehar, me'ushar etz haim hi. Machazikim b'domehar, me'ushar. Shalom, 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 shalom. It is a tree of life to them who hold fast to it, and all of its borders are happy. It is a tree of life to them who hold fast to it, and all of its supporters are happy. Shalom, 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 shalom. Etz chaim hi lemakazikim b'domehar, me'ushar. Etz chaim hi lemakazikim b'domehar, me'ushar. Shalom, 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 shalom,
Our Torah is at rest. You may be seated. It is my pleasure for the Aliyah to invite up Jackie.
Baruch et Adonai Hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Leolam Vaed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Leolam Vaed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam. Asher bachar banu mikol ha'amin. Ben natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. ותישא כל עדה ויתנו את כולם ויבכו העם בלילה ההוא וילונו על משה ועל אהרון כל בני ישראל ויאמרו עליהם כל העדה לו מתנו בארץ מצרים או במדבר הזה לו מתנו ולמה אדוני מביא אותנו את הארץ הזאת לנפול בחרב נשינו וטפנו ויהי לבז הלא טוב לנו שוב מצרימה ויאמרו איש על אחיו ונתנה ראש ונשובה מצרים. The whole community lifted up their voices, and the people cried that night. All of the Israelites complained against Moses and Aaron, and the whole community said to them, If only we had died in the land of Egypt. If only we would die here in the wilderness. Why is Adonai bringing us to this land only to fall by the sword, our wives, our children taken as plunder? Wouldn't it be better for us to go back to Egypt? And they said to one another, let us appoint a new leader and go back to Egypt.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'hayei olam natav bechut tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
There's a moment in our parashah where fear becomes more powerful than anything else. Moses sends 12 scouts into the land of Canaan. They all see the same place. They walk the same hills. They bring back the same fruit. They know that the land is real, it's beautiful, and abundant. But 10 of them come back with a story of fear. They say the land is good, but the people are strong. The cities are fortified and the inhabitants are giants. And then they say something incredible. We looked like grasshoppers to ourselves, and so we must have looked to them. This is where the moment where fear crosses a line. Fear itself is not the sin. Fear is human, it's natural. Fear can even be wise. Sometimes fear is the part of ourselves that says, pay attention, be careful, don't be naive. But the problem in Shalach Lecha is not that the people are afraid. The problem is when that fear becomes contagious, when fear becomes the only story anyone can hear, when fear takes over the imagination of the entire community. The scouts don't simply say there are dangers ahead, they say we cannot go forward. They don't just say there are giants there, they say we are grasshoppers. They don't simply assess the challenge, rather, they shrink themselves in the face of it. And once that fear begins to spread, the whole community begins to collapse. The people cry throughout the night, and they say, we would rather go back to Egypt. They begin to believe that slavery was safer than freedom, and that the past was safer than the future, that the narrow place was more comfortable than the promised land. That is what fear can do when there is no one to steady the room. But then Caleb speaks. The Torah says Caleb quiets the people and says, Alo na'ale, surely let us go up. In other words, we can do this. We can move forward. We are able. Now, Caleb doesn't deny the reality. He doesn't say there are no giants, and he doesn't pretend there's no danger. He doesn't tell the people stop being dramatic. Caleb's gift is not denial. Rather, Rabbi Jonathan Sachs of blessed memory writes that Caleb's gift is steadiness. He stands in the same frightening moment as everyone else, but refuses to let fear become the whole truth. This is one of the deepest forms of spiritual leadership, to be afraid and still be steady. To see the danger and to still remember the promise. To feel the anxiety in the room and not add more panic to it. And I know this is something our community needs right now. Just a week ago, I was awoken by phone at 2 a.m. A classmate, now the assistant rabbi for Temple Emanu-El Beth Shalom in Montreal, told me someone had firebombed the temple. Thankfully, no one was hurt and the damage was minimal, but the fear was real. All across the Jewish world, people are living with fear. Not an imagined fear, not something exaggerated, real fear. Jewish communities are having to increase their security. Parents are worrying about children on campuses. People have to think twice before wearing a kippah, a Magen David, or even posting something Jewish online. Synagogues are wrestling with questions we wish we didn't have to ask. According to the AJC's 2025 State of Anti-Semitism in the US, 55% of American Jews have said they have had to change their behavior out of fear of anti-Semitism. 91% of those surveyed said that they feel less safe as Jews in the United States following recent violent anti-Semitic attacks. The ADL's 2025 audit recorded 6,274 anti-Semitic incidents in the United States, with physical assaults higher than ever before in their tracking. In the UK, Jewish organizations reported that in 2025 brought the second highest total annual amount of anti-Semitic incidents it had ever recorded in its history, with spikes on attacks on Jewish communities. So when we speak about fear, we shouldn't speak dismissively. We shouldn't tell other Jews, don't be afraid, as though fear is a failure of their faith. Fear might be the very honest beginning of faith. But our parashah tells us that fear cannot be the end of a story. There is a difference between vigilance and panic. There is a difference between caution and despair, between taking security seriously and allowing fear to define the entire Jewish future. The 10 spies looked at the land and they saw only threat, but Caleb and Joshua looked at the same land. They too saw threat, but also possibility. They understood that courage does not mean pretending there are no giants. Courage means refusing to become a grasshopper in your own eyes. That's the danger for us too. We are the descendants of people who have crossed seas, rebuilt after exile, carried Torah through centuries of danger, sang songs in languages not our own, lit candles in hidden rooms and public squares, buried our dead and named our children, argued with God, and still shows up to pray. We are not grasshoppers. We are a people of memory, a people of covenant. We are a people who knows that the world can be frightening, and yet still we choose life. We choose blessing. We choose Shabbat, learning, community. Still, we choose to raise our children with joy. That certainly does not mean that we are naive or careless. It means we are rooted. And that's what our community needs most from each other right now. Not contagious fear, but communal steadiness. A steady community does not say everything is fine. A steady community says we are here together. It does not ignore danger. It prepares wisely and keeps on living. It does not shame people for being afraid. It holds them, it listens to them, and helps them to breathe once again. A steady community does not need to spread every panic, every rumor, every worst-case scenario. Rather, a steady community asks, will this help us protect one another, or will this only make us smaller? A steady community says to its children, yes, there is hate in the world, and no, that is not the whole story of being Jewish. A steady community says to one another, you do not have to carry this alone. It's why the end of our parashah matters so much. Because after all the stories of fear, and after all the stories from the spies and the people's panic and the collapse of trust, the Torah gives us an interesting mitzvah, the mitzvah of tzitzit. We're told to place fringes on the corners of our garments and to look at them, so that we may remember the mitzvot and to not only follow after our heart and our eyes. That's such a tender ending to a painful story. The spies followed their eyes, and their eyes taught them fear. So the Torah gave us something else to look to. Look at the tzitzit, look at the threads, look at this reminder, something that brings you back to who you are. Because sometimes our eyes can mislead us, and sometimes the world looks only like giants. Sometimes fear tells us this is all there is. But Torah tells us, look again. Look at the people sitting beside you. Look to the generations who came before you. Look at the children who still need to see Jewish joy. Look at the candles. Look at Torah, the mezuzah you kiss, the hands that are reaching for yours. Look at all of this evidence that we are still here. The people in the wilderness lost their steadiness because they forgot that they were not walking alone. They saw giants, but they forgot God. They saw walls, but they forgot the sea that had already split. They saw danger, but they forgot the covenant that carried them. Our task is to remember what they forgot. There are giants, there is fear, and this is a difficult time to be Jewish in the world. But we are not grasshoppers. We're not powerless nor alone. And our calling is not to allow fear to become contagious. Our calling is to make courage contagious, to make compassion contagious, to make steadiness contagious, to make Jewish joy contagious. So may we be like Caleb and Joshua, able to stand in the frightened crowd and speak to a steadier world. May we be wise enough to protect one another, but brave enough not to disappear. May we take fear seriously, but not allow fear to become our master. And may we help each of us remember again and again, the land ahead of us may have giants, but we carry something far greater than fear. We carry one another. And with God's help, alo na'aleh, we shall surely rise. Shabbat shalom, everyone. At this point in our service, we think of those who are in need of healing. Our community is praying for a number of individuals at this time. Barbara Bergman, Bob Brovler, Charlene Brovler, Susan Brovler, Leslie Brown, Alan Carson, Christina DeSuvic, Maggie Ingebretson, Barbara Esmond, Joel Esmond, Bill Fisherman, Sue Gupta, Nancy Halevi, Linda Rose Herman, Marcus Hyman, Judith Hyman, Mark Justin, Marcia Katz, Aidan Kozlovich, Lee Kurth, Mel Lang, Stuart Libby, Nancy Lipset, Rebecca Magana, James Maymary, Gordon Matsuoka, Claudia Mendoza, Leo Mendoza, Arjuan Meredith, Mitzi Mild, Nina Morgan, Stuart Novick, Paula Perry, Martha Randolph, Jennifer Reed, Bonnie Richmond, Wendy Robbins, Patricia Sarles, Arlene Siegel, Haye Simcha, Jeffrey Snyder, Noah Tobinkin, Mike Trask, Keith Churro, Butch Ogren, Gerald Umeda, Sylvia Voynow, Harriet Weissman, Robert Wolf, Cheryl Wolf, Ruth Yathabetz, Kathy Zane, and Helene Mann. If there is someone or someones for whom you are praying for this evening, I will invite you to please share their names with us now. And I'll add to that list. And Helene Mann, yes. And I'll add to that list my Aunt Sandy Sherrill. We'll join together in the words of Misha Baruch, which can be found on page 371 or page 253. Sending a refuah shlema to all of those names we've mentioned here, all of those names we hold in our hearts. Amen. I'm going to invite us to please rise again physically or spiritually as we return our Torah to the Ark. We're going to be together at the bottom of page 370 or 252 with the words Vezot HaTorah, and then we'll turn 2 pages over to Etz Chaim Hi. It is my pleasure to invite up Sam G., who will be helping us with Hagbah.
Vezot HaTorah asher sam Moshe lifnei bnei Yisrael avi Adonai v'ad Moshe et Chaim hi lemokazim imo v'tom
You may be seated unless you are Joshuish, because you have some announcements for us. Use the microphone. You use that one.
Shabbat shalom. Oh, is this on? Is this okay? This thing's on. How you doing? Shabbat shalom, everyone. Rabbi, I was thinking as you were mentioning in your remarks about fear not being our master, being a child of the 80s, I was, of course, tossed back to all the lessons from films of that time that were clearly drawing from the Torah, everyone from Mr. Miyagi in Karate Kid, reminding us that it's okay to lose to an opponent, but you must not lose to fear. Dune, reminding us that fear is the mind killer. The great Jewish philosopher Yoda, reminding us that fear leads to anger, anger leads to hate, and hate leads to suffering. And of course, as I look at all of the green chairs out there, I'm reminded of the lesson from the Green Lantern Corps that the power of will is greater than the power of fear. So just adding on a little bit of pop culture continuity from the Torah. So with that, I'll actually get to the announcements. A few things. So first, a reminder about temple office hours generally. Walk-in hours are Monday through Friday, 10 to 1. If you need assistance outside of those hours, they can be provided, but please try to make an appointment. Looking ahead to this Saturday morning, tomorrow, just a reminder that we do have Torah study with Rabbi CJ continuing at 9:30, both in person and on Zoom. And as you could see from tonight, it's a wonderful thing to attend to take an even deeper dive. A note coming up that on June 19th, in honor of Juneteenth, the office will be closed, but we will still be having Shabbat services that night. So just note about that. And one additional item in terms of a little bit of housekeeping, but also specifically for temple members, just to note that all temple members would have received by now a mission, vision, and values survey. It's a brief survey. It's an anonymous survey. It's something we're deeply indebted to Rabbi CJ for taking the lead on putting together. And it's really a chance for people to weigh in and share what is resonating with them, what they'd like to see more of, what maybe they'd like to see less of, and a chance for the membership to really help shape the future of the community. A few other upcoming events. There is a Krav Maga Foundation I heard some positivity there. Thank you. Okay. Woo! All right. I love the energy. Bring that energy to the self-defense workshop. It's going to be on Sunday, June 14th from 12:30 to 4:30. No prior experience is necessary, but registration is required. Another piece, not as much self-defense, probably a little bit lighter on the physicality, but still important, is the Jewish Community Speaker Series continues on Thursday, June 18th at 6 p.m. with a presentation by Dr. Sri Trotter titled Indigenous Identity, Modern Political Construct, or Ancient Paradigm. Registration is also required. And then a note that for anyone who's looking to get a little bit more involved with Shabbat services, as you saw tonight, we are inviting congregants to volunteer in a shared Google Sheet with the type of honors that you saw tonight on the Bima. So if you would like to participate, there is the opportunity to do that. And then just a few last things. As always, we do continue to collect both items of food and money for the Hawaii Food Bank. If you're able to bring food, please do so. And as anyone who's seen me up here has noted, my friends at the food bank have always reminded me that if you are able to give a little bit of actual cash instead, they can actually make that go further than we can by just bringing in cans. $10 will actually provide 21 meals because of the economies of scale that the food bank can provide. And a reminder about spoof emails. There have been people getting spoof emails from the temple. Please, not from the temple, pretending to be from the temple. See, I fell for it myself in my own remarks. How embarrassing. So just to note that any non-shaloha.com email address you should be a little bit suspicious of. And then just a final reminder that when you are done with the oneg tonight, please try to clean up a little bit after yourself. It really helps with the professional staff who's helping to take care of things afterwards. With that, I will exit off this way, but Shabbat Shalom.
I'll invite us to please rise physically or spiritually as we begin to wind down our service with Aleinu. Aleinu can be found on page 586 or page 282. We'll join together at the bottom. Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon ha'kol la'atzeit gerula le'yotzer breshit shelo asanu kegoye ha'aratzot Velo samanu kimishbechot hadama shelo sam chelkenu kahem vegor aleinu kechol hamonam vanachnu korim umishtahavim umodim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu V'ne'emar V'haya Adonai Lemelech Al Kol Haaretz Bayom Hahu Yeh Adonai Echad U'Shemo be seated. At this time, we turn our attention to those who have passed recently, and in seasons past, our community is observing a number of yard sites at this time. Abraham Sapiro, Ah Kuo Wong, Alex Schaefer, Alexander Singer, Ann Stomka, Cecile Wheeler, Charles Aronson, Dora Goldman, Dr. Iva Volgalese, Eliezer Suhanoff, Harry Henkin, Henry Adler, Hoyt Parker, Isaac H. Milbauer, Jenny Vitale, Leslie Bergman, Mayor Zeltzman, Minnie Lewis, Morris Cesar, Motel Lico, Nellie L. Newman, Patricia Marks, Rose Milbauer, Shirley Neeson, Sophia Fredman Gus, and William A. Hellman. If you are in a period of mourning or observing a yard site, or if I happen to mispronounce the name of your loved one, I ask you please share their names with us now. If it is your custom to rise for Mourner Scottish, I will invite you to do so. Mourner Scottish can be found on page 598 or page 294. Yet gadal v'yet kadash shemei rabah, be'alma divrach yirotei ve'amlich malchutei, b'chayechon uvyomechon, uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei rabah mevarach almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yithaleh v'yithalal shmei dekudesha brichu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Osei shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Zichronam levracha, may their memories be for a blessing. I'm going to invite us all to begin making our way into the center aisle. As we always do, we join together in song, sending you all out with peace, with love. If your neighbor is comfortable, if you are comfortable, maybe we can put our arms around one another. We're going to join together in Lean on Me.
Sometimes in our lives, we all have pain, we all have sorrow. But if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong. I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Please swallow your pride if I have things you need to borrow, for no one can fill those of your needs that you won't let show. You just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you'd understand. We all need somebody to lean on. If there is a load you have to bear that you can't carry, I'm right up the road. I'll share your load if you just call me. Just call me, won't you call me? Lean on me when you're
Let's join together in Kiddush. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddishanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon kinhilanu zikaron le'maaseh v'reishit ki hu yom tehila le'mikra'e kodesh zeher litziat mitzrayim kivanu v'harta ve'otanu kidashta mikol hamim ve'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon kinhaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat l'chaim. We'll join together in Motzi before we break for Kiddush. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'tei avon. Shabbat shalom, everyone. Thank you all so much for joining us. Please join us for Oneg in the back. Join us for Torah study in the morning, and enjoy the rest of your Shabbat. Shabbat shalom, everyone.
Sometimes in our lives, we all have pain, we all have sorrow. But if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong. I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on. For it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Please swallow your pride. If I have things you need to borrow, for no one can fill those of your needs that you won't let show. You just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I just might